What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I'm here to talk about the fights that I think the UFC needs to make, that we all need to see after UFC 318. I'm going to be talking about the biggest names and the biggest winners and some of the losers of the card. I talked about some of the prelim fighters in my recap video from yesterday, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out. But otherwise, if you're here on this video looking for fucking Adam Fugitt's next matchup, or what I'm going to do with fucking Roman Kopylov. Who does Roman Kopylov need to fight? His coaches for telling him that he was winning. I'm here to talk about the biggest names from the card. Let's get into this. The first one I want to talk about is Marvin Vettori. He had a very entertaining fight back and forth with Brendan Allen, you know, the king of the blockheads. There's no shame in losing to Brendan Allen, dude. Brendan Allen's a freaking problem, dude. Brendan Allen's coming for the fucking belt. He's promised that he's bringing the belt back to Louisiana. And I feel for Marvin Vettori, bro, because he's just been fighting the ranked top 10 somewhat good contenders, except for Dolidze. I'm never letting this guy get any credit for anything that he does. I think he needs a little bit of a step down, and in the middleweight division, you can literally make any ranked contender versus an unranked contender a fight night main event. And I want to give Marvin Vettori a matchup that's not a layup, that's not like an easy fight whatsoever. Especially in this fight with Brendan Allen, where he was getting rocked and his chin is starting to kind of look like it's fading away. But I do want to give him a 5-round main event against an unranked middleweight contender with a very undeserving win streak, which is very realistic for the UFC. I'm going to say Marvin Vettori should fight Cesar Almeida next. Cesar Almeida is coming off a very nasty knockout over Abdulrazak Al-Hassan. Marvin Vettori's on a 3-fight losing streak, so you can basically book him against fucking anyone in the promotion that's unranked. I think this is a smart fight for Marvin Vettori. I don't know if he'll actually take this. He'll probably just sign up to fight some other ranked contender and lose a very close fight where he gets, you know, hit with a million shots. But if I was the UFC, if I was in charge of things, I would be doing Marvin Vettori versus Cesar Almeida. It's kind of a win-win. I feel like that's always what it needs to be when you're matchmaking. I mean, I am the best matchmaker on YouTube and the best predictor on YouTube statistically. I didn't get dominated with the upsets. You got dominated. I got caught. All right, Pitbull got caught, bro. But regardless of that, either you get Marvin Vettori back on a win, and you can feed him to someone else because he's going to have some name value because he fought for the belt. Or Cesar Almeida, who does have a kickboxing win over Alex Pereira, now has a win over Marvin Vettori. We're looking at maybe we shoot him up there against fucking Izzy at some point, dude. That's what I'm thinking, right? So I'm going to say Cesar Almeida, who, by the way, really doesn't have that much grappling as well. He got completely out-grappled easily by Roman Kopylov. I think this is winnable for Marvin Vettori, but also if he cracks his chin, that's a big win for Cesar Almeida. So that's what I would do, all right? Next up, we're going to talk about Vinicius Oliveira. Again, this guy, man. If you didn't see the recap video, dude, this guy put on one of the most technical maestro performances I've ever seen in the UFC. I mean, this guy literally, there were shades of prime Dominic Cruz. It was shades of, you know, prime TJ Dillashaw. This guy is one of the most skillful technical bantamweight in this division full of killers where Ayman Zahabi is 40 years old and ranked. I mean, this division is a murderer's row of just high-level, extremely technical athletes. Vinicius Oliveira, I feel like he's the biggest maestro of all of them. And I want to see him take a jump up the rankings. He is on a win streak. I'm not trying to hate on Vinicius Oliveira too much. It's just funny that he literally fought like a fucking street beefs character, like dead ass, hands down, winging punches from the hip. But he's on a win streak, and he's ranked, and he beat Kyler Phillips. I think he needs a top 10 opponent. I would like for it to be Rob Font, but I've heard that Rob Font's fighting Raul Rosas Jr., which I'm hoping is not true, but I could definitely see the UFC doing that. So I feel like a lot safer of a matchup to make is Chito Vera versus Vinicius Oliveira. I think this fight would be entertaining. I think Chito Vera could definitely capitalize if you're trying to walk him down with the goofball style that he was using against Kyler Phillips. And at the same time, you know, Chito Vera, this guy, if there's nobody turns into a freaking punching bag like this kid, Chito Vera. I think Chito Vera versus Vinicius Oliveira, these are two exciting names in the bantamweight division that people love to watch. I think that there's a lot of unpredictability in this matchup that makes it interesting. You could make it a 5-round main event. You could also put it on the prelims of a pay-per-view, depending on what you want to do. I think there's chance for Chito Vera to maybe, you know, get going on the feet because I doubt there's going to be that much grappling from Vinicius Oliveira. We mainly see him defending takedowns, not really chasing them. And Chito Vera, his biggest weakness is if you know how to mix in a takedown whatsoever, or if you have a chin and you're not a midget. You're going to be a tough time for him. So I think this is winnable for Oliveira to continue the win streak. I think he deserves a big name, being on a good win streak, having some entertaining performances. And I think Chito Vera versus Vinicius Oliveira is a good fight. So that's what I would do with Oliveira. As for Kyler Phillips, maybe he fights Peyton Talbot. I could see that happening. Am I wrong? I could definitely see Kyler Phillips getting booked against Peyton Talbot. Maybe that's what I would do with those guys. But yeah, let's move on, dude. Okay? And it is not 2015. It is literally 2025. And I'm about to talk about what's next for Michael Johnson after his win on pay-per-view. They put Unk on a fucking pay-per-view card, and he actually won. So Michael Johnson is now 25-19. He's on a run. He's 39 years young. He's coming for the fucking belt. He doesn't take his shit piece by piece. He eats his shit whole. And people are wondering what's next for Michael Johnson. Now, don't laugh, bro. I'm being serious, bro. This is not. I feel like this is like flashing this image on the screen. It's like making a fucking chopped chin joke, dude. Like, I feel like the time has passed for this matchup, but it's genuinely a good idea. Michael Johnson, Drew Dober. Is this still funny? Is this funny in 2025, dude? I feel like there's going to be at least one comment about, dude, Unk really made this joke in 2025. But regardless, I'm serious. This is actually what you should do. I know the default bot matchmaking is going to be King Green versus Michael Johnson. I mean, let's get the two Unks and they're scrapping over the barbecue. But realistically, first and foremost, King Green is fighting someone already. He's fighting fucking Carlos Diego Ferreira, which is a great fight. And I don't think Bobby Green wins that. I think Bobby Green is... I don't know why I'm calling this guy King Green. I don't know why I'm listening to this guy's fucking pronouns. I'm about to dead name Bobby Green. Robert Green, a.k.a. Bobby Green, is getting slept by fucking Carlos Diego Ferreira. He's not winning that fight. He's already booked to fight in August. And Michael Johnson is on a 3-fight win streak. Drew Dober is always right outside those rankings as a name. That's just what it is, dude. And I think that I would love to see Michael Johnson versus Terrence McKinney, but I think there's more exciting matchups you can do with Terrence McKinney. I know that Michael Johnson trains at Killcliff. I feel like if he didn't, I would like to see him fight Michael Chandler, honestly. I feel like that's something I would do. But because of that factor, I want to see him against someone with some power that has been ranked quite recently. Maybe Matt Frivola, but I'm going to say Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson. There's a little bit of like meme value to it. Maybe the meme regenerates, revives. Either way, you're getting a finish in this fight as well. These guys are two of the most prolific knockout guys in the lightweight division. So I'm going to say Michael Johnson should fucking get back in there against Drew Dober, sort this kid out. And let's put this theory to the test that a lot of people have about Drew Dober's fighting abilities depending on his opponent. That's what I would do next. Knowing the UFC, this will be in the Apex. So I'm trying to give you a good matchup, but you're likely being sent to the fucking Apex next, Unk. Good luck with the title run, brother. Next guy to talk about, Patricio Pitbull, baby. Patricio Pitbull, man. This kid's coming for the fucking belt, dude. I told you guys that Pitbull was coming for the belt, and, we got a great win over Dan Ige. We pieced him up with the calf kicks. We took him down. We dominated him. We're only just getting started in this division. And I think when you look at Pitbull, what the fuck do you do with Pitbull, bro? Like, he got schooled by fucking Yair Rodriguez. He barely beats Dan Ige. He is ranked. And I think he's good enough to be ranked in the top 15. Because I think featherweight, like I joke about bantamweight, but genuinely, I think featherweight is actually the most overrated division in terms of skill. The fact that Volk is 37 years old with no chin, basically, the clear best guy in this division. The second best guy is Evloev, who cannot finish anyone in the division. And the third best is Diego Blockhead Lopez, who just walks at you touching his throat. This division is so overrated. Like, Steve Garcia is on a fucking 6-fight KO streak. Calvin Kattar's still ranked. Yair Rodriguez is 1 fight away from the belt. Brian Ortega's top 5. And people act like featherweight is this murderer's row. So the thing with Pitbull is, I think there's definitely a lot of unranked guys that he beats, but I don't think he beats the guys above him just based on his last 2 performances. So if I'm the UFC, I'm not doing Aaron Picto versus Pitbull. If I wanted to watch 2 Bellator guys scrap, I'd go watch fucking Johnny Eblin, dude, who's the real pound-for-pound middleweight king, guys, alright? Johnny Eblin's a freaking problem, dude. He's the real middleweight goat. But regardless, I think what you do with Pitbull is you just go on an Unk Legacy tour. That's what I would do. I would send Patricio Pitbull on an Unk Legacy tour against guys that were ranked in the UFC featherweight division like 3 or 4 years ago. I wish Barboza was still in this division. I wish Cub Swanson was still around, because these are matchups I would look for. I'm going to say Pitbull versus Cater, bro. Voices in the air. That's the type of matchup I'm seeing right now. Patricio Pitbull versus Calvin Cater. Both of these guys are somehow ranked in 2025 in the featherweight division. And last thing I'll say about this matchup, I'm not going to talk about the style matchup because these guys are not going to do anything in the fight. But listen, man, if you ask me what I'm doing tonight, you know, I had some friends ask me to go on some plans today. You know, I had to pull out just because, you know, my social battery is pretty drained. But if you ask me what I'm doing and I send you this photo, it means I'm not doing anything. I'm doing fuck all. I'm standing around at range. If you ask me what I'm doing and I send you this, just know I'm sitting around on my phone scrolling reels. I'm doing nothing. This is I don't know what I'm supposed to do with Pitbull. I think him versus Unks in this weight class is the move. Calvin Cater, if he wins that, he's on a 2-fight win streak. Okay, maybe we send him up against Aljo if he loses to Ortega. Or we send him up against Ortega. Or maybe he fights Giga Chikadze. That's what I'm doing with Pitbull. I'm trying to get an Unk legacy run and then maybe feed him to like Diego Lopez or Gene Silva if they need a win or somebody like that. So Pitbull versus Cater, that's the move, all right? Next guy to talk about, Kevin Holland, bro. I can't believe I fell for the fucking Kevin Holland bait again. I feel like an idiot, dude. You know that friend that just keeps going back to their ex, dude? That's how I feel with Kevin Holland. Every time I'm like, nah, fuck Kevin Holland. This guy's a bum. You know, I pick him to lose against MVP. I pick him to lose against JDM, all this stuff, right? As soon as he starts winning, and I think what really did it for me was the Luque win, because I thought Luque was going to beat him. I thought Holland was going to sell that fight, but he actually beat someone like somewhat good with power, with grappling. So I was like, hold on, Kevin Holland's actually trying right now. Yeah, that was a fucking mistake. Kid loses to fucking D-Rod, gets dropped 3 times. How do you, dude, Kevin Holland, how do you get dropped 3 times by D-Rod? You can't manage to get dropped by JDM once. Why are you trying to make JDM look bad? What are you doing? Regardless now, you're on a fucking loss now at welterweight. You were ranked. You have now allowed Daniel Rodriguez, who lost to Neil Magny, to become ranked in the welterweight division. I mean, this guy's a fucking genius. This guy's one of the most impressive guys in the division. I really wanted to make Kevin Holland versus Carlos Prates if he won, but now that he lost, I think him versus Chris Curtis is fucking money, dude. Dude. You gotta walk with me on this, because not only is this a matchup where we're gonna get, you know, Chris Curtis probably baby raging when he loses, like he's gonna be squeaker raging at some point. Like, why does Chris Curtis have that squeaker baby rage energy? Regardless, I think Kevin Holland wins this, but there's also potential for Chris Curtis to chin him. Like, Chris Curtis does have power. He's coming down from middleweight. I think these are 2 guys that are undersized at middleweight that are genuinely quite skillful, but, you know, their potential is probably higher at welterweight. And the biggest reason I made this fight is because you know who's in Chris Curtis's court. Here's the fucking thing about Holland, you guys, dude. I could literally do whatever I want to fucking Holland in prison, you guys. We need this, guys. We need Kevin Holland making Chris Curtis baby rage. We could see a potential Chris Curtis knockout of Holland. I mean, the chin did get cracked in the D-Rod fight. And most importantly, it is Chris Curtis bringing Sean Strickland to fight week. We see Strickland and Holland beefing back and forth. We got a glimpse of it in 2020 when they were both, you know, putting up fucking MJ and Kobe numbers in the Apex. Now it's time to build on that beef a little bit. And there's always potential of Holland just going back up to middleweight and fighting Sean Strickland as well. So I would say Holland versus Chris Curtis is a pretty good idea. That's a nasty fight by me. That's a great fight. And while I'm here, I got to be honest, I can't stop looking at Conor McGregor's. Anyways, let me get back on track, dude. Jesus Christ, D-Rod is ranked. D-Rod is ranked at welterweight in 2025, and I'm just as surprised as you are. I'm not going to beat around the bush around this. I think we need a Wonder Boy masterclass. I like D-Rod, dude. I think he's cool, but I just don't think he should be ranked. I think that Kevin Holland sold really, really badly. I think he could have got that finish in the 3rd round. But D-Rod looked good. He's got good power. He's got good front chokes. That was something I was worried about with Holland when he was shooting those takedowns, because D-Rod does have some nasty submissions. Like, he submitted Tim Means in his debut. And I think that Wonder Boy needs a little bit of a step down, a little bit slower and younger of an opponent. He does need to watch out for the fucking 90 days in, you know, blitz. that D-Rod's bringing if he rocks him, but I think this is the type of fight Wonderboy wins. He looked good against Bonfim. I thought that he could have won that fight, honestly. I feel like he kind of got robbed in that matchup against Bonfim. I could see the judging scoring criteria for Bonfim, but I do think Wonderboy won that fight, and I think he will probably go back up into the rankings now that Holland's probably dropping out of them. Like, the UFC, sometimes they're so crafty with this, dude. If someone wins against a ranked opponent, and the UFC doesn't want them to be ranked, they will just drop the guy that lost out of the rankings and put someone back up that was ranked. And I think Wonderboy will get put back up into the rankings at number 15, and Holland will just drop out of the top 15. So I think that D-Rod will get rewarded with a ranked opponent for that win. Let's give him Wonderboy. They both just fought around the same time. This is a good matchup for Wonderboy. I think he wins this fight. And I think it's an entertaining scrap. Even if D-Rod wins, I mean, shit, he's on a fucking run if he pulls it off. So, Wonderboy versus D-Rod, that's what I would do if I was the UFC. 2 people left to talk about. We got to talk about fucking Paulo Costa. Another guy that somehow is winning on pay-per-view in 2025. Roman Kopylov, I mean, what a performance from this kid. What a performance of this kid, man. Shades of freaking Cheeto Vera out there just standing around doing nothing. What do you do with Paulo Costa? He's a big name. He's ranked number 12 in the division. He's lost to basically everyone big name above him. Whitaker, Strickland, Adesanya. I don't think he is getting this Chimaev. God bless the guy for calling out Chimaev. I don't think you're getting Hamzat, bro. But knowing the UFC, maybe he does. The UFC loves to put Paulo Costa in these number 1 contender fights, even if he's losing. So, who knows? Maybe Paulo Costa goes up there and fights fucking Dricus next. But if I'm the UFC, there's one fight I'm making. Brendan Allen, Paulo Costa, they're right next to each other in the rankings. I think this would be a great fight night main event. I will say this, if Rainier Derrida loses to bloody Bobby Knox, Brendan Allen versus Rainier Derrida, I need that fight injected into my soul, into my veins. I need it more than life itself. But if Rainier Derrida manages to pull that one off, I would say Paulo Costa versus Brendan Allen makes sense for both of these guys. Would be a great fight night main event. A lot of goofing, a lot of gaffing going on. These are 2 of the silliest, blockiest middleweight contenders. I would love to see Brendan Allen try and take down Paulo Costa because he actually does have really good takedown defense. And I think that on the feet, Brendan Allen could low-key box up Costa, but it would be a little bit more dangerous now that Costa knows how to throw a punch again. He's going to be throwing kicks as well. I think this is a very exciting matchup for the casual fan, and it makes sense in the rankings. So I would say Paulo Costa, Brendan Allen, that's probably a good idea for a fight night main event. Now, Max Blessed Holloway, my GOAT, is fucking back. I love this life. It had to come at the cost of Dustin Poirier. You know what you fucking did, dude. You fucking celebrated me losing, dude. You're a fucking scumbag, dude. Listen, man. I said this in the thumbnail of the last video. I said this in a video before UFC 318 came out. I think Max Holloway is the best lightweight contender right now. In Ilya's division, Max Holloway's the best contender. I think Max is going to do the best against Ilya out of all these guys. Armin, Paddy, Rufus. The fact I'm even mentioning Rufus is laughable, but Rufus is here. You know, all these guys, I think Max Holloway is the most well-rounded, most technically sound, like most skillful, best lightweight contender right now in the division. People might laugh at that, but genuinely, tell me how I'm wrong. Max Holloway is an elite level striker with improved power, great defense. He has very solid takedown defense and grappling defense. He's hard to hold down and take down consistently. And he has a lot of submissions on his record over pretty decent guys at featherweight. Arman Tsarukyan is a good boxer, a really great wrestler, but I don't think he's the elite level grappler that Max Holloway is as a striker. Like, Max's striking is better than Arman's grappling. That's what I believe. It's more effective. He's more dangerous. So I think Max, compared to Charles, Gaethje, Armin, Paddy, he deserves a title shot probably more right now because Armin pulled out of the fight against Islam. I'm not mad at Armin getting a title shot, or maybe, you know, fighting Dan Hooker or Paddy Pimblett or somebody like that and getting a number 1 contender fight. But if I'm the UFC, we are farming more legacy for Max Holloway. I'm doing Max versus Charles for the BMF belt. I think that giving Max a title shot off one win is pretty hard to justify when we're all clowning Gaethje for asking for one off the exact same thing, except he already beat Poirier by knockout. And he just beat Fiziev twice, you know, and before that he beat Chandler when he was ranked and he was kind of good. I think that Max Holloway deserves a title shot more than Gaethje easily because he fucking schooled him and KO'd him in his last fight at lightweight before Dustin. He has a better resume at lightweight than Arman Tsarukyan already, beating Poirier and Gaethje. That's fucking crazy. And I think if he beats Charles Oliveira, it'll probably be by knockout or by dominant decision, and I think that will be 110% you are the number one contender. I think he's the best contender right now against Ilya, but I think it should be Arman next. Arman or, yeah, I think Arman. I think this is my final take on lightweight. I think Arman Tsarukyan should get the title shot against Ilya Topuria. I don't think he wins that fight. I think Paddy and Gaethje should fight each other in the meantime. Or, you know, Gaethje and Hooker should fight each other, and maybe Paddy should fight Charles Oliveira after he loses to Max Holloway. And I think after this fight, Max Holloway will be the number one contender. He'll fight the winner of Arman and Ilya, which will be Ilya, and they'll have a great rematch, and Max will do really well. And I don't know if he beats Ilya, but I think he'll do a lot better at 155 with more power on his side, a little bit more physicality and size on his side. I think it'll be a great fight, and I really do think he is the best, you know, opponent against Ilya Topuria in the lightweight division currently. I think him versus Charles, that's free legacy for Max. That's a chance at some good legacy for Charles. But I think Max wins this fight, and that's what I would do. So if I'm matchmaking the lightweight division, I'm giving Ilya a title shot and just getting him out of the way. I mean, Arman a title shot and getting him out of the way against Ilya. I'm doing Paddy against fucking Rufus or Dan Hooker or something. I'm doing fucking Max versus Charles, and the rest of the division can sort themselves out. That's what I would do. So let me know your opinions in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with me that Max Holloway is the best contender at lightweight right now against Ilya? I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments down below. If you guys are enjoying the videos, make sure you're liking the videos. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. By the way, I keep forgetting to say this in the videos, but I'm going to say this now. When we get to 90K, I'm going to do an inside joke tier list. I'm going to be ranking all of the best comment, all the inside jokes that we've been building on the channel for the past like 2 years. I'm also working on doing a collab with a couple of UFC fighters. So if there's somebody serious, I know you're going to just put fucking Shamil Gaziev and all this shit, but if there's somebody serious you want to see me do a video like interviewing them or talking to them or some shit, I want to start doing that on the channel a little bit. Drop that in the comments below as well, boys. If you guys are enjoying the video, drop a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA, and I will see you guys in the next video, man. Goodbye.